Welcome back, everybody, to our retrospective review discussion of the MCU. We are on
Captain America, the first Avenger.
which is our fifth film.
Yes.
Flying by.
Yes. I had to think about that. Yes.
But yeah, first appearance of Captain America.
And a few other characters that...
and a few other characters,
yeah.
which we'll get into. Yeah, so if you're new here, welcome. We're looking back at the MCU. We're going through all of the MCU films in release order, to be determined if we'll end up doing shows. But as of right now, like we said, we're on the fifth, the Captain America. Next is the big cojones, if you will.
The big cojones, the one that really put the MCU on the map, both for fans and the box office, really.
Yes, for sure. I mean, this one wasn't bad for the box office.
This one has the second lowest of the first phase. So the only one that's behind it is Incredible Hulk.
Which was great.
Which was so great. But yeah, so some stats about Captain America, the first Avengers, sitting Rotten Tomatoes, 80% for the critic score, 75% for the audience, which,
Yeah, 6.9 on IMDb.
Yeah. Budget, you're sitting at 140 million. Box office was 370.6 million. So not bad.
Not bad.
Obviously not the highest, but definitely not the lowest of phase one. Obviously Marvel. Director was Joe Johnson. The release date was July 22nd, 2011.
2011.
14 years ago. Your cast of, I don't know, I always add like a few extra people into this list. But obviously Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. You got Hugo Weaving as Johann Schmidt, also known as Red Skull, who does not come back to play Red Skull.
Does the voice.
Future.
I believe he does the voice.
I don't think so, actually.
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm almost certain he does the voiceover.
He just doesn't come back to...
He doesn't,
person.
yeah.
Weird. Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. Sebastian Stan as James Buchanan, Bucky Barnes. Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark. Toby Jones as Armin Zola. Stanley Tucci as Abraham Erskine.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy Lee Jones as Chester Phillips.
Yeah,
some
great
of those are more
cast.
important.
Great cast and some star-studded cast at the same time.
That Tommy Lee Jones was in this movie.
Dude, I forgot Stanley Tucci was in it.
I remember his character, but
yeah, fantastic group of actors and also just well casted for their roles as well.
Well, even like you look at like Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan, when this movie comes out, they're not A-list actors.
Chris Evans didn't even want to play Captain America.
No, he didn't.
I think that I was reading something that was just talking about how he was approached 3 separate times to take for the role.
That's wild.
So I don't know if that was like a negotiating thing or just he didn't really feel like he could do it justice. I don't know what it is, but he ended up being a very, as we know now, obviously fantastic.
Ideal.
But in this film, being the first time we see him, I also felt it was great.
It was great casting for sure.
He carried himself very well through the film. He did a great job of getting you to feel for Captain America and Steve Rogers throughout the story, right? From beginning to end.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, like Stanley Tucci, Tommy Lee Jones, Hugo Weaving, like those are 3 big actors. Like, yeah.
And they don't. It doesn't go unnoticed. They did a great job.
They steal a show.
They did so good
in their scenes. Yeah. But yeah, what did you like about what did you like, Connor?
Oh, first of all, this is the last origin story for quite some time in the MCU. I believe the next one is Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And that's not even the first Ant-Man.
Technically Guardians of the Galaxy. That comes out before.
But it's not an origin story. And it's a group.
That's true, I guess, yeah.
Right? Like individual origin story.
Individual origin, yeah. The next one's Ant-Man, which isn't really quite an origin.
Like it is the origin story of the Ant-Man we get, but it's not
Scott Lang.
Yeah,
Ant-Man,
exactly.
Not...
So if you want to go like OG character, Doctor Strange is the next real single origin story for a character of Marvel, which is, I remember at the time they were like, we're done origin stories, and we were like, what are they going to do if they introduce other characters? Like, how are they going to do it? And well, they end up doing it just fine. I mean, and then they end up going against the workers like, I don't feel like normals are going to know Doctor Strange. But anyways, here we are, Captain America. We get his origin story. And honestly, I love Captain America's origin story because he is that skinny shrimp character that, no one has any faith in, gets rejected from, but all he wants to do is be able to represent his country and go and fight for peace and freedom,
Yeah.
But he keeps getting rejected, and he gets his shot. And the reason he's selected for this whole superhero project,
it's within the heart.
It's because it's more than just the body, right? And that's part of one of my favorite, goes into one of my favorite moments, which is Chuchi's character talking about how I'm looking for more than just the body or a good soldier.
Yeah.
And also his whole discussion with Steve Rogers the night before they go through the experiment.
Scene,
yeah.
Not a drinking scene.
But just him talking to him, it was so fantastic. So yeah, I just really like Cap's origin story. And Cap as a character is, yes, he's Captain America, but he's more like Captain Everybody.
Yeah.
Or
for the people.
Captain for the little guy. He's not the perfect soldier. He is what he deems right, he does. And that's what makes him such an interesting character.
Yeah.
I also have down just Chris Evans, Stanley Tucci, Hugo Weaving. I just think all of them did such fantastic job in all of their roles, respectively. When they're on the screen, you just paid attention, and they're all great. So definitely A+ in casting. That's definitely a massive like. I thought this had that kind of Marvel charm with the good mix of humor, a story, good action, and just pretty elite casting. I feel like that's kind of the Marvel formula. Not as many jokes, but some of them they did hit when they were there. I think my favorite, it's not even really a joke, but funny giggle moment, if you will, was when Peggy shoots the shield and is like, yeah, it works.
Yep.
Because that's right after she sees Cap
making out with
a
different lady.
Yeah, a secretary or something at the base. So that was funny. Costume designs were fantastic as well.
Very
I thought.
timepiecey,
but they also hit the genius of having the OG Cap suit be the propaganda kind of play thing that they did, so that we still got to see the OG Cap outfit, but then the more modernized version of and practical use of Cap's colors in a suit was great. I loved it.
Well, it's good too, right? Because like in Iron Man, we got the Mark 1 from the comic books.
Yep.
Thor, we got the whole winged helmet kind of thing. And then outside of Hulk, because Hulk, I don't think we end up seeing him wear purple pants.
He doesn't wear purple pants,
There's
but they jokes about it.
Yeah, but then we see Captain America, and that's such a cliche, even right down to the shape of the shield,
the 3D wings coming off. Yeah. What about you? Did anything stand out for you that you liked?
For likes, I mean, Tommy Lee Jones and Stanley Tucci, their on-screen chemistry, anytime they're in a scene together,
they're great.
Bounced off each other. It was great. From a film perspective, the build-up to the reveal of what Red Skull looks like. So in the opening scene, you see Hugo Weaving, but you see cuts kind of around his neck.
Well, we see, and he also gets punched or something, and he has
a little bit,
like a sag to his face.
Yeah. And then even later when he's getting when he's getting painted,
the painting,
and the way,
and you see how uncomfortable everyone is around him.
Yeah. And they turn the light off as the camera turns over, so you get to see the shadow of his face, but you don't actually get to see it. So when you finally get that reveal, you're like, oh, nice.
And he looks good.
He looks good, honestly. For 2011, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the supporting cast that we don't really get to see too much is both a like and a dislike, where the Howling Commandos, who are characters in the comics, they're part of the 107.
Yeah. And they get I see what you're saying. In comics, you know who they are if you've read comics or read anything that they're in. But in this, they're kind of just part of the montage. And you're just
really are.
You're just getting the vibe that, okay, they've done a bunch of stuff together now. They're kind of coherent, like a cohesive team.
But I don't even know if we get their names. Like Dun Dun Dugan.
Yeah, there's nothing there's nothing that really gets revealed to you other than obviously Bucky, who we already know as a character previous to this.
Exactly. And it's funny because Howling Commandos are in this. And then the only small Easter egg we basically ever get after this is in Spider-Man Homecoming, because the actor that plays one of the Howling Commandos is the same actor as the principal of the school. And he has a photo, and it's implied that it's his grandfather. that retcon recast that
Yeah,
we've
very
talked
nice.
about in older thing. Yeah, those are most of my likes, and then that kind of goes into my dislikes of the Howling Commandos just not getting enough character development.
It was a
because they
longer
were
film,
just-
2 hours and a half, and it didn't have time to really get into because
Yeah.
there wasn't, unless you
No.
wanted a 3 hour film.
No, exactly. But then I feel like that kind of goes into one of my dislikes where the ending felt a little bit rushed in a way because it went from like, oh, we rescue them, cool, Bucky's dead, cool, here's a montage, okay, now here's the final fight.
I feel like the pacing that is definitely one of the negatives. I don't think it was that bad because you have to remember this is the origin story of how we got Cap.
No, for sure. A lot
Right?
of these characters
So
aren't going to matter.
the first half of just working towards becoming Captain America and then having it labeled as like a failure, even though they never used him. Like, so
Yeah, and he needed to rescue Bucky before he could lose Bucky for character development.
yeah, exactly. And the whole montage is more of like, hey, he's been doing stuff because you can't really take 10 minutes to show a
Yeah.
mission every time. And then that's also going to get boring. So I didn't mind the montage and then leading into, okay, because we also see when he's saving Bucky, we see that Cap sees the, what Hydra's up to, like all their bases.
Yeah.
And it's a montage of him being like, this is where we need to go next.
Yeah.
And they're a step ahead of Hydra. So it kind of works, I think. It just does feel like it happens really fast in that like final act.
Yeah, I think the final act just feels a little bit rushed because of so much build up through the first act. And
But
then
we really only need to get to
finishing.
the part where why is he a popsicle, right?
Yeah.
Like why did they? Because the beginning of the movie is them finding Cap.
Yeah.
Then we go back in time. We see how he becomes Captain America, how he gets frozen, and then we see obviously the ending.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, cool. And then obviously, yeah, he wakes up and et cetera, et cetera. Another one of my dislikes is Small Steve shots just looked weird.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my. I think it looked both good at points,
Yeah,
but
certain,
then
I'm like,
it was
oh, it
just
looks good.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
I think the worst scene, in my opinion, was the scene with Peggy in the car.
Mm.
Because there's angles where you're at closer to Peggy and you're looking at Steve, and he looks so tiny, really like sank into the car. Then there's like a camera angle from like closer to Steve, and they're almost the same size.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What pick?
well,
pick
which
a-
is it? Like, how tiny is this
Yeah.
guy?
For me, it was the right after they get out of the car and they go into the hallway going into where Mr. Stark and stuff is. It just looked like he almost was changing sizes just a little bit.
as he was moving?
Yeah, like it just didn't.
Obviously, 2011,
Yeah.
still cool that you look at how huge Chris Evans got for the film, so it is impressive that they made him look so tiny.
Minuscule, yeah.
But on top of that, there were definitely, for the effects, a lot of more noticeable elements where you're like, you could tell it wasn't a real background or
Yeah.
And I think part of that might be due. I was reading that they actually used older cameras that only had a max of 2K resolution.
Mm.
And I think I think they were also 2K digital cameras, direct to digital, so that easier for the effects team to get it working on right away. But I think that maybe because I watch it on a 4K TV, I think that may have helped have things kind of feel out of place.
That's fair.
I mean, I could be crazy saying that. I'm not very huge into like film technology and how that adapts to what we have.
Yeah.
But I will say I definitely noticed the fake backgrounds a lot more in like something like this than I did in Iron Man.
That makes sense, yeah. Is there any other things you disliked?
Other things I disliked. This one's a bit nitpicky, and obviously looking back, it feels even more so like this, which is the simplistic, almost repetitive plot style. But knowing we're going to do the whole MCU, that's just going to happen. This isn't even that recycled at this point.
No, exactly.
Right? It's only going to get more noticeable as we go on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean necessarily that. It was just, it didn't do anything out of the box. It was definitely very safe.
Yeah.
In even for Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, like it did feel like this movie was very safe. Like, hey, let's just get his story out there. The main concept, the characters we need to introduce. And shout out to obviously they were thinking far ahead with Bucky.
Yeah.
With they knew they wanted to get the Winter Soldier. That was definitely part of their plan the whole time, because with casting of Sebastian Stan, he was signed on for 6 films.
Yep.
So they already knew, they're like, okay, we need to make sure we have him losing Bucky and show their friendship and have him lose him because we will be bringing him back.
Bringing him back, yeah.
And yeah, I thought that part was nice, but overall, maybe the CGI was not the best. That could be related to that. Could be related to time. I'm not sure. There were definitely things that were noticeable.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the pacing was a bit, because the whole first part was nice. Like, you could say that it was maybe a bit slow, but I kind of was enjoying it.
Feel.
Yeah. And then we ramped it up a bit, and it was just a little too quick, maybe.
Yeah.
What about you? Any other big noticeable things?
I mean, like Small Steve, the montage, yeah, the ending felt a rush. Like, outside of those, I don't think there's any real nitpicky dislikes. Going on the positives, some of my favorite moments quick, before we wrap up, the grenade scene. It's just, that one's just...
Well, and it's so perfectly timed, exactly. Like, right, with, we have Chester Phillips and Abraham discussing basically conflicting beliefs of who they think the super soldier should be.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because the general's like, oh, like, you need someone with guts or whatever, and then he chucks the grenade.
And the guy he wants to become the super soldier just books it.
Everyone else books it, and the guy that he keeps talking crap about is the one guy to jump on the grenade. And then he's like, still skinny, though.
Still skinny, though. Yeah.
I loved all of your scene with Bucky, too.
Yeah.
Like, when Steve is skinny and he's getting the crap beat out of him and Bucky shows up, like, their friendship is just perfect.
Honestly,
it's so good.
The chemistry they have in this scene, like, in the beginning of this movie, all the way to what it becomes in the MCU is really well done.
What a good casting. Like, I'm assuming they must have already had them do some readings together.
Had to have.
But you really feel like they're actual friends. Yeah. Like, it's just chef kiss. I love when Steve saves Buggy. I've been reading a lot of One Piece. When he saves Bucky, and it's just like a nice role reversal, right? He's like, and I love that he's not like, you're smaller. You're supposed to be smaller or something. Like, is what he says to him because he's obviously huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great, and pretty much, and like I said, the Abraham scene with Steve Rogers the day before was really great as well.
Spinning through quick for Easter eggs. Obviously, Stan Lee cameo. Waiting for Captain America to come on the stage, and then it goes, I thought he'd be taller.
Yep.
Classic Stan Lee cameo. Easter eggs. We see Stark Expo, what it was like in the 40s. Obviously, we see Stark Expo modern day.
In Iron Man 2, they brought back the Stark Expo.
We see the first ever Human Torch at the Stark Expo. The flying car that...
Not just the first Human Torch, but it's Phineas Horton's name is above it, who is the creator in comics of the...
Jim Hammond.
Of the android Human Torch.
Comic book cover of Captain America punching a certain someone. When the kids are all buying those, that's an actual comic that was released in the 40s.
Yep.
Obviously the vibranium shield. Vibranium is such a real
Yeah. They expect me to know vibranium.
First scene of Armin Zola, we see his face like super large. He's like looking through a magnifying glass or something, and that's a huge reference to his comic book character because his head is literally in the middle of this robotic chest.
Yep.
Of a thing. Another big one is the red car that Mr. Stark's showing on at the Stark Expo.
The flying car,
becomes a flying car in the Agent
Carter show. Yeah, that she uses.
Is there any other Easter eggs?
Yeah, there's a few more. We've got obviously the catchphrase of "I can do this all day," which was fun to see. We see the World Tree again, having its importance with right at the beginning of the film when Red Skull first gets the Tesseract.
Yep.
We see big one is this one's more Easter egg for history buffs, but the Red Skull plane as well as his car were actually concept drawings that people that were gathered from German like intelligence.
Which is crazy. So
real drawings that Germans were planning on working on that they kind of created. So that's kind of cool, especially since Red Skull is like the scientific development part of division of Germany at that point. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then we also got the military camp that Captain America is at. All of the candidates for to become Captain America is Camp Lehigh. I don't know how to say that, but it's the same camp that Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, ends up attending in her TV series of Ms. Marvel. And then obviously there's like another history-ish Easter egg is that we have a German scientist that defected from Germany, kind of referencing Albert, a genius, another genius at Albert Einstein. So some mirroring of real world. It's always cool to see historic fiction because it's kind of like, you can take real elements of our actual history, which is scary, and kind of fill it in your own little fun moments, and you can take characters like, hey, I don't want to have Albert Einstein but I have a character who's very similar.
Yeah, exactly.
Has his own big role to play within comics, right? Because the development of the superhero serum is huge. Exactly. So that was kind of cool Easter eggs, I think.
Overall story importance to the MCU, obviously proper introduction to the Tesseract. That was really big. Obviously introduction to Captain America and Bucky. Yep. Obviously the super soldier serum, because that's eventually what causes the Hulk to become the Hulk, and then Abomination, etc. Red Skull dies, but doesn't technically die. He's kind of just taken away and becomes the guardian of the Soul Stone.
Just a lot of introductions of characters.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then obviously the film starts and finishes with Steve Rogers being found.
And then the post-credit scene, Nick Fury approaching Cap, telling him, like,
got a mission for you.
Not trying to force him out, but being like, hey, if you want to save the world, I have something you can do. And obviously big hint to the Avengers.
Yeah. And then mini teaser trailer.
For me, I'm going to give it a 7.5, but I feel like I need to bring down like a lot of my other previous rankings, almost bring them down. We are going to do a big wrap up of phase 1 and kind of give it a little tier list. So I'm not going to, rank them per se, but I'll say probably like a 7.57. Yeah. Like it wasn't insane, but it was entertaining and I liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give it a 7.5, around the same. Nothing really higher than that for sure. But otherwise, so that's Captain America: The First Avenger, and we'll see you soon for the Avengers.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Bye.
Bye.